Hello,
Hey Joe, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Thanks,
Hi,
thanks a lot,
Roderick.
man. How are you doing?
Cheers, man. Good, thank
Mm,
you.
Thanks a lot for joining me in this interview. First of all, it's a pleasure and an honor having you here.
Yeah,
Straight from
thanks for having us.
Talking straight from Brazil. Have you ever been here down south?
No, I haven't. I've always wanted to go, but we've never managed it yet.
Cool.
But hopefully, sometime in the future.
You've just released the new Spiders album, Sharp Objects, which got very good numbers, and you also played a couple of concerts with Graveyard. How is the year going so far for you?
Yeah, very well. Yeah, we did some release shows for Sharp Objects in Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö in Sweden, and then we did a tour with the Helicopters, a Swedish band. Supported
Yes.
them for about 10 dates. So that was really good. We played for a lot of people and it was, yeah, really good. So now we've had a few weeks off and I think it's in 2 weeks we're playing in Gothenburg again and then we're playing a few festivals around Sweden. It's good times.
Any
Yeah.
plans to do US?
No, no, nothing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of bands have cancelled touring the US now. So,
Oh shit.
yeah, I'm not sure how.
How were the concerts with Graveyard?
Yeah, I toured with them. It was last year. Um, the the singer Jukka, he usually plays guitar, and he had to have an operation on his arm. So I hopped in and played guitar instead of him for a European tour for that was a month, and that was really fun. Yeah, we did Germany and France and Italy, and then went over to the UK. Yeah, it's really good fun.
I want to get back to the very beginning now. Now, let's say they really thought you were from Sweden. I found out they were from UK, like writing the script. And
Oh right, yeah.
I want to know how you got into music, if you had any family influences, the first instrument you learned how to play, and why you decided to move to Sweden back in the day.
Yeah, well, my dad's English and my mum's Swedish, and I was born in London. Um, and we moved when I was about 8 to Sweden because my mum wanted us to go to a Swedish school because she thought they were better. So we moved to Sweden, and my Swedish grandpa he played the guitar and used to play in bands in the 40s and 50s, and he taught me my first chords, and then I think friends of my parents and my parents also had really good records like the Rolling Stones and Beatles and stuff. So I started listening to that, and then yeah, learned to play the guitar. I suppose. Yeah, and then I suppose when I grew up as a teenager in the town where we lived was called Örebro, and I met people that were had similar music tastes and had bands and stuff. So I was very inspired by them as well, I suppose. And started my first band when I was about 14, called Pandemonium, and we played like covers of Judas Priest and Black Sabbath, and then I suppose I just carried on from there. Really.
Let's move to Witchcraft now. It's one of my favorite bands from Sweden.
Oh, cool.
I want to know how you got to meet Magnus Pelander. And I wanted to talk a bit about this period that you were in the band.
Yeah. Well, grew up in this town called Örebro. It's right in the middle of Sweden, and Magnus had a band called Norrsken, Norsken, and so I used to go to the like youth clubs and saw them. I thought they were really good, and then I suppose started hanging out with them, and then a few years went by, and then they split up, and then Magnus wanted to start a new band, or record a 7-inch. It was for he had written 2 songs, and asked if I wanted to play guitar on it. So one of the songs was dedicated to Pentagram, and the other one was dedicated to Rock Erickson. So we recorded that, and then I moved from Örebro to Gothenburg, and a couple of years later, Magnus carried on with Witchcraft, and then he asked me to join the band full time, and he got a record contract with the UK or the English label called Rise Above Records. So we recorded the first album, and then it was released in, is it 2004? Yeah, and then we toured really a lot on that. So yeah, it was good times.
Cool.
First time we went to play in the UK and Germany and stuff. So it's really exciting.
In my interviews, I gotta talk about my favorite albums, and this time I picked The Alchemist. Beautiful, beautiful album from Witchcraft. Could you talk a bit about this one, like writing, recording, producing, touring?
Yeah, it's a long
That
time
was
ago
the
now, but
year you guys went to US, right?
yeah, I think we've been there. We did a tour before that album as well in the States, and but I can't really remember. I think we had the songs. We were sort of writing them at the same time as we were on tour, and then we got back to Sweden, and then we met this guy called Tom Hackava who had this analog studio in Stockholm. So we sort of finished the songs, and we went to Stockholm and stayed there for a few weeks and recorded in this tiny little analog studio he had, and it was fun because he could we did like backwards guitar solos and stuff, and he'd sort of cut the tape and turn it backwards, and yeah, it's really cool to see how he's really good at recording. So yeah, as I said, it was a long time ago, and I can't remember that much, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's one of my favorite albums as well.
the song that gives title to this album, The Alchemist, has like three parts. Do you remember if it took that long to write that song?
Yeah, I think we worked on it a long time. It was mostly Magnus, I think, who had the most of the idea for it, because he wanted to write a really long song, and so he wrote most of it at home, I think, and then we worked on it in the rehearsal studio, and then I think some of us put in some of our ideas as well, so like the end part and the acoustic bit in the middle. But yeah, it took a long time to figure out how it's supposed to be, I think I remember, and yeah.
Do you know if the song has some specific meaning or just some literature that he created for the lyrics?
Yeah, I don't know really. You'd have to ask Magnus.
Magnus
But
don't give
yeah,
interviews, I guess.
doesn't he?
No, I never
All
done
right.
one.
Uh, yeah, but yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what the actual meaning of the lyrics is, but
Did you listen to the new Witchcraft single?
yeah, I had one of the songs. Was it Burning Cross? Um,
Burning Cross, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's really good guitar riff, and yeah, it sounded really good.
Yeah, we're excited they're back.
Yeah,
Hope they make some good stuff.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
2010, you founded your current band Spiders with your wife Anne Sophie
Mm.
Hoyles. Could you talk a bit about this turning point of your career living witchcraft? It's a new journey.
Yeah. I left Witchcraft in 2010, I think. And by that time, I'd moved to Gothenburg and met my wife, Anne Sophie, who sings in Spiders. Yeah, I wanted to start a new band, and I knew Axel Sjöberg from Graveyard. And so we decided to put a band together. And so we wrote songs and recorded it, and Anne Sophie sang on them. And we had a bass player called Matteo from Italy who joined. So we played quite a few shows, and then Graveyard was getting big, and Axel didn't have time for two bands, so obviously he chose Graveyard. So yeah,
Graveyard
so
played in Brazil a couple of times.
yeah, they were there quite recently. I saw.
São Paulo, yeah, Danko Jones, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and then we recorded an EP with Axel, and then he left, and then we carried on, and our friend Rickard Harrison joined on drums instead, and then we got a record label, and then yeah, so we've been recording and playing shows since.
And the next question, I'd like to know a bit about the musical scene in Sweden. I know why you guys listen in the underground and the mainstream as well, and how you think it differs from the UK.
Uh, yeah, I don't know really.
I heard you guys listen to a
I'm
lot
not
of
really.
rock and roll in Sweden.
Yeah, I think there's been at the moment it doesn't seem to be that popular. There's quite a few bands still, but like in Gothenburg now, it seems to be more about psych rock. It's all these bands that jam for 20 minutes. So there's not much pure rock and roll bands at the moment. But I don't know, it might change. Um, but I'm not really the person to ask about new music because I mostly listen to like old stuff. And me and Anthony live in the countryside, so we don't go out much anymore. So I just sit listening to our vinyl records. Yeah, I mean, when we did our release shows, it was a lot of people that came to the shows and that, and I've noticed that was some younger people as well, like 18-year-olds. So that's good, and so hopefully there'll be a new generation playing rock and roll again.
All right, you have
Mm.
a huge collection of vinyls as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah,
But
all from 70s.
yeah, 60s and 70s rock, and then a bit of blues and jazz as well.
That was an absolute pleasure having you here. Would you like to send a last message to people that will be watching this interview in the Mr. Doom community?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you in Brazil. You could come and play there; it'd be great.